Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Today, during the Europe Days and events connected to the launch of the new Erasmus program to 2021-2027, I'm pleased to open the special session dedicated to the Jean Monnet project, and namely to the new call for application 2021. I'm honored that this event brings together university representatives from all Eastern Partnership countries. I would like to thank national Erasmus offices in Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, and Ukraine for their full support in organizing this event. Thank you very much for this. So I will be very short in my opening speech in order to give more time for questions and answers. So I'm pleased to give the floor to Antonio Fonteles de Lima, Project Officer at the EaP, the European Education and Culture Executive Agency. Antonio, thank you again for your openness to present the novelty of the Jean Monnet project action and to answer the question of our participant related to new application form, budget, etc. And you understand this is very, very important for them. And this is the point of this question and answer session. And this is our biggest interest, the question and not only the question, the answers. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Antonio Fonteles. I'm a project officer at the European Education and Culture Executive Agency. And I have been since last year working with the program Jean Monnet, with the Jean Monnet Action, where I am basically responsible for a portfolio of countries which include, for instance, Moldova, Ukraine, and Armenia. We'll today make a short presentation about the Jean Monnet Action, the historic, the current figures, and mainly the new call, which is already open. And after that, there will be a little questions and answers session. Unfortunately, I have to say that this session will be quite short because due to another appointment, I have to leave at 2 o'clock in sharp this afternoon. But what I would suggest you do is that whichever questions don't get answered today, that you send me them by email. I will give them an email at the end of the session, and I will answer them in written to you in the next days. So you do not need to worry that you will not have the answer for your question. I will start by making my presentation. I'm trying to share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Just
okay.
make it full screen if possible.
Yes, I will just do it like this. Okay. Erasmus Actions 2027. That's the new multi-annual financial framework. As I said, this is a bit small presentation about the Jean Monnet from historic to current times. The Jean Monnet Actions is a network which has been functioning since 1989, which comprises the whole world, and which has so far granted around 6,000 projects all around the world. I have here a few figures from 2 of the countries participating today, Moldova and Ukraine. You can see that the differences per country, but anyway, differences in the ratio between projects submitted and projects selected. I have here Moldova. I have here the new projects from last year, just so that you have an idea about the kinds of subjects we deal with. here the numbers from Ukraine. Ukraine has over 1,000 proposals, from which more than 100 have been granted over the last years. As you can see, all of these are only projects from Ukraine approved in 2020. I know it's not possible to read it because there are so many of them, but just to have an idea of how big Ukraine is among the partner countries in the Jean Monnet portfolio. About last selection, we had around 1,500 proposals, from which 360 around were selected, which means a rate of more or less 25% of the projects which are approved. So as you can see, it's a highly competitive action. The budget available last year was of 21 million euros. For 2001-2027, which I'm going to talk about now, the new Erasmus program, it's still comprises the three main key actions, 1, 2, and 3, learning mobility for individuals, cooperation for innovation practices, and support for policy reform. And as an action apart, the Jean Monnet actions, which gather a little bit of the three subjects together in relation to European Union studies. European Union studies, as per the new definition, comprises the study of Europe in its entirety, with a particular emphasis on the EU dimension as an internal, but also from a global perspective. What do we mean about that? Previously, the focus of Jean Monnet was mainly in what you call like the classical subjects, like law and economics and political science related to European Union history and function, etc. Nowadays, we have amplified the scope of field studies to the extent that it may vary so long as a new angle is explored. For instance, you can make a proposal talking about the European health, the European health dimension of any health policy, which is a subject that in the past wasn't related to the European Union, but as we see now, for instance, in this moment, in this situation of a pandemic, health is becoming more and more subject to European Union policies. So that's just one example of ways in which you can apply subjects which relate to your field of research, of expertise. You just have to try to link them to the pertaining European Union policy which is related to the subject. If I'm talking too fast, please let me know. I'm just trying to focus on the last part, but let me know if I need to go more soft. As of 21, the Jean Monnet actions, we have a new strand. We are going to go on with the actions in the files of higher education institutions, but also a new one in the fields of education and training. Another difference is that we are now working with fixed lump sums and customized lump sums. And we also have done a review of the award criteria. Let me already say that in regards to partner countries, they are not eligible for the Jean Monnet actions in other fields of education and training. So this part is only for program countries. Partner countries, they remain eligible for Jean Monnet actions in the files of education, higher education institutions.
Dear Antonio, sorry to interrupt you. There is the part of the screen which is not seen. Maybe there is.
Yes, I was going to say that as well. The part of the screen we cannot read.
I will try to then put it back. I have noticed that, but let me see if I can put it in a way that I can.
I think we will send your presentation to all participants. So if it is not how to say solved,
because I maybe if I do this, can you see now the whole screen?
Not yet. Now it's better.
It is better now.
Now it's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better.
Sorry about it. I mean, you didn't miss much because I was reading the parts that you have, so don't worry. Anyway, Jean Monnet actions for higher education. The aims: promote excellence in teaching and research, foster dialogue between academic world and society, to generate knowledge, insights in support of EU policymaking, reach out to a wider public, and function as a vector for public diplomacy towards partner and third countries. The Jean Monnet actions for higher education institutions, they are, for this year, modules, chairs, and centers of excellence. We are not dealing this year with projects, networks, and support associations because it has been decided that this year we would also concentrate on this new strand, which for the time being is only available for program countries, but partner countries can still apply for modules, chairs, and centers of excellence. In the case of modules, they can be done by, as I said, higher education institutions in any part of the world. Duration is still 3 years. Maximum EU contributions of 3,000 euros, which represents 75% of the total amount of the project, and it's a fixed lump sum. And the requirements that there should be a minimum of 40 teaching hours per academic year. Summer courses are allowed. These are studies offered at a higher education institution concentrating on one particular discipline, on European studies, or a multidisciplinary in approach. Therefore, call upon the academic input of several professors and experts. Chairs. Chairs are teaching posts with a specialization in European Union studies for university professors. The duration is also 3 years. The maximum EU contribution in this case is of 50,000 euros. It's also 75% of the total amount. It's also fixed lump sum. In this case, the minimum amount of teaching hour has to be of 90 hours. Centers of excellence. Centers of excellence are focal points of competence and knowledge on European Union subjects, gathering expertise and competences of high-level experts, aiming to develop synergies between various disciplines and resources in European studies, as well as creating joint transnational activities. Duration, also 3 years, maximum EU contribution, 100,000, which in this case is 80% of the total. And this is something that is not correct. I see a fixed lump sum, but it's actually a customized lump sum. I will explain to you in a while what is the difference. This is something new in this new Jean Monnet action. And there should be only one center of excellence per time by the higher education institution. As I was saying, the funding mechanisms, that's something new as of this year. They will focus on the outputs rather than the inputs, and the emphasis will be on the quality and level of achievements of measurable objectives. Fixed lump sums, they are still available for modules and chairs, and they will be up to 70% of European Union co-financing. So the applicant will have to co-finance up to 25% of the of the project. A customized lump sum, which in the case of partner countries applies to the centers of excellence, it will reach up to 80% of the total amount of the project. So 20% will be co-financed by the beneficiary, and it is a calculation made between a detailed budget, which will be calculated by the applicant in real costs, and these real costs will be then summed up by the experts doing the evaluation by work package to turn into a customized lump sum per project, which will then be made available to the applicants. I will get back to that soon. So as I say, modules and chairs, grant calculation, fixed lump sums. The core text includes tables displaying total lump sums per country corresponding to the total number of teaching hours. Applicants request an application predefined amount of single lump sum as indicated in the call tables. Amounts provided in tables indicate final eligible EU contribution. So in this case, you just do as in previous years, you have a number of teaching hours, and according to the number of teaching hours, you receive a fixed amount of a lump sum, which is defined already in the program guide in the tables that you might have seen. You might have seen these tables. In the case of the countries I'm talking to today if fall under this category of the countries. And here you see the number of teaching hours in the 3 years period, and you see the amounts they vary until they reach amount of either 30 or either 50 in the case of modules and chairs. These fixed lump sums, they will anyway be used to fund all the costs related to the project. So the calculation by teaching hours is just a way of calculating the lump sums. It's actually not necessary that all the hours spent, all the hours calculated are actually teaching hours. You have to make sure that the minimum of teaching hours is applied, but the amount anyway will be used to all costs related to the project. In the case of centers of excellence, I have to explain how the system of customized lump sums will work. So the core rules: the amount of single lump sum contribution determined for each grant based on this estimated budget proposed by the applicant. The granting authority will fix lump sum per grant based on proposal, evaluation result, funding rates, and maximum grant amount set in call. Details: budget presented as detailed and coherent work packages. So for each work package, you will calculate that the budget for each package, and based on this calculation that you have done, the evaluation will be made, and this calculation will be either entirely accepted or maybe changes will be proposed. And then after we have the final numbers, based on these final numbers per work package, we will define a customized lump sum per project. So that means that actually the amount, the final amount of the lump sum will differ from one project to another according to the fixed costs that they have applied for during the application. The activities for each work package must be outlined in detail. Applicants must provide a breakdown of estimated costs showing the share per work package, and the costs remain staff, travel, subsistence, equipment, subcontracting, and others. The award criteria for 2001-2027: relevance of the project, quality of the project design and implementation, quality of the partnership and cooperation arrangements, and impact, dissemination, and sustainability. There are slight differences between modules, chairs, and centers of excellence, depending on the number of points that they have to score in each criteria. This information you can also find on the program guide. You see a maximum 25 per each. Relevance of the project. Number one, meets the objectives of the Jean Monnet action, which I have already explained earlier in this presentation. And the extent to the proposal reach the priority target groups, which are higher education students on European Union studies, higher education students who do not automatically come into contact with EU studies, or for Erasmus partner countries, the potential to enhance EU public diplomacy. So this has to be also the potential that the project has to...
Aceasta ar trebui să fie un potențial pentru proiectul nostru.
Sorry? Excuse me.
I think this is a technical moment with the translation.
Oh, okay. Should I go on?
Yeah, yes, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Quality of the project design and implementation. The methodology.
Etapa de implementare a proiectului și vedem cum e designul proiectului.
Methodology, management, coherence, and monitoring.
Metodologie, managementul, coerență și monitoringul și evaluarea strategiei proiectului.
Okay. Quality.
Acum vom discuta calitatea parteneriatului și...
I have noticed, I'm just trying to stop.
Victoria, doar o clipă să vă adăugăm în traducători. Just 1 second, it's a technical moment.
Okay, I don't know what to do now. This is up to you guys. Okay,
One
no
moment.
problem.
I'll let you know when we are ready. We are ready now. Sorry for that.
That's
No,
okay?
you are not. No, it's not. It's not okay. Now we are not interpreter at all.
I'm not talking yet.
Cristina.
So.
Ok. Sau Olga. Acum m-ați făcut și pe... Trebuie să fim doi interpreți, dar eu văd că nu este nimeni interpret acum. Aha, este doar Victoria, dar eu?
Sunteți ambele.
Nu.
Se aude toată interpretarea, chiar dacă noi nu trebuie să auzim.
Nu, eu nu sunt. Deja am scos. Eu mă uit în lista de participanți, eu sunt simplu participant. Noi putem să fim doi.
Maybe we could try again. It should work now, maybe, because I've seen the that.
Can I go on?
Please try.
Yes, try.
Okay, I will go slower.
Yeah.
Quality of
Sorry.
partnership and cooperation agreements. So, for instance, excellent profile and expertise of shareholder in European Union studies, profile and expertise of shareholder and key staff involved, evidence of the level of experience in research EU studies. I had gotten asked a question today about the format for the curriculum vitae. There is no specific format, so it's a free format as of this year. Impact dissemination sustainability. The expected impact of the project by having long-lasting effects. Dissemination and communication, disseminating the outcomes of the activities within and outside institutions, raising awareness of projects and results, reaching out to groups outside the higher education institutions, transferability and translation to new policies, extent to which the dissemination tools will reach the target audience, sustainability and continuation. This is one very important award criteria that is often neglected, and that's a pity because it's just as important as all the others. So I would recommend you to take particular attention to this point of impact, dissemination, and sustainability. Indicative roadmap. As I said, the deadline, as far as we know, is still the 2nd of June. We are not working at the moment with a possibility of extension. The evaluation period will happen throughout the summer of 2021. Notification of results to applicant, they will happen more or less by the end of the year, which means that you are faced with the following situation. If you are planning to start in September of this year, you have from one side the advantage that your project will be ready to start when it gets the financing, and the financing in this case will be retroactive. But you take the very high risk that if you don't get the grants, you have already started the project and you don't have the money to fund it. So it's risky. Another option is to start the project during the academic year, so not in September, but basically, for instance, in January, which is not optimal. But in relation to the timing for the call this year, it's a more safer bet in the sense that you only start your project once you are aware of the results, or the other possibility is to start it only in September of 2022, which is also okay if you prefer to do so. So you have to take care when you apply to this point, because we have to face this year a delay in the approval of the multi-annual financial framework, which caused a delay in the approval of the Erasmus Program guide, which caused a delay in the approval of the Jean Monnet action, which caused a delay in the call. So everything is delayed this year, and that's the situation we have to deal with for 2021. The amount available is 10 million. It's 4 million, I think it's 4 million for chairs, 4 million for modules, and 2 million for centers of excellence. I believe it's something like this. The details are in the application form. And as I said, as of this year, we are using e-grants, which means that the application not only the application, but also the whole management of the project will be done online, not only by us, but also by the beneficiaries themselves. Here, I give a few tips for a successful application. Demonstrate clearly sustainable results in benefit of all actors. Remember what I have said before, that we will focus even budget-wise in the outputs and the outcomes rather than on the inputs. We want to see what the results of the project will be. So make sure that you have that very clear in your application. Count with a clear institutional support from the organization. So make sure that you as the project coordinator, that you are really fully backed by the institution you are representing. Be ready to start as soon as the call results are published. This point, as I said to you, you have these three options that I just mentioned. So, you know, you have to take either the risky, but from the eyes of the evaluator, maybe better, but it's the riskiest, or take the one which may be less attractive, but it's more safe, which is in September, or maybe go for a midway, which is starting in the middle of the academic year, which I know it's not optimal for you guys, but having seen the delays we're having to deal with, it might be the most realistic option at the moment. Please make sure that you have clear, complete, concrete, concise, and coherent proposals. Don't leave any, let us say, loose ends or untied knots. Make sure that everything is included in the proposal. Count with the active participation of all team members. So if you have 5 team members, make sure that you, in the application, that you describe how they all will participate in the project, not that there's just one project coordinator, you know, taking care of everything, and the other members are just as figurants. You should make sure if you have a team member, that they have an active participation in the project. Here I have a screenshot of the funding portal. So when you go there, you have to choose for the Erasmus program, and then you get a list of all the, you can see, like, you can click on view and you get all the open calls, and you see that our calls, they are already they are available for submission of applications. Here I have a few useful links, the link to the tender in the opportunity portal. I have a link to the platform where you can look for information about the previous projects and project results to get maybe inspired about how to construct your project. And here the mailboxes are not only the functional mailboxes, but mine. In that case, I'm responsible for Ukraine, Moldova, and Armenia. My colleague Raluca Yagar, she's responsible for Georgia and Belarus. And my colleague Maria Victoria, she's responsible for Azerbaijan. So if you have any questions that I might not be able to answer today, I would just recommend you to send it to me on written, and or to my colleagues, and we will answer to you in written as soon as possible. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Thank you very much to be so clear, to trying to answer already some of our questions, which was sent to you before this event. So I think we will proceed to other questions, and we have already a list of 10 questions. I will start with those dedicated to the budget calculation. So one, I think you have already mentioned in your presentation, but in order to be very clear, for Jean Monnet module and chairs, do participants need to fill in the detailed budget tables, or these detailed budget tables are all only for Center of Excellence.
Okay, I mean, I received this question this afternoon, and I wasn't sure if you had really understood, because when you say detailed budget, I wasn't sure if you were saying detailed budget per work package or not. If you mean detailed budget per work package, this only relates to centers of excellence. It does not relate to modules and chairs.
Mhm.
If you mean detailed budget in the sense that you distribute the teaching hours by the people participating, then that's just a detailed budget as any other one. But it's not the one applicable to centers of excellence. The centers of excellence is the one that you have to define per work package on a real cost basis.
Mhm. Thank you very much. We have some questions, even those questions which was sent by Lana to you on the budget, and I will just how to say.
I have a few
tell
of
you
them
the-
here.
yeah,
I have them here on my other screen, so I can already answer a few of these
yeah,
questions.
the first
There was-
question.
The
Mhm.
first question about when the grant will be paid. We still receive a pre-financing, okay? What the program guide says that according to the lump sum scheme, the lump sum for work package will be paid only when the entire work package has been completed. What it means is only that you will receive the full amount of the grants if the whole package is completed. Otherwise, there will be a deduction on the final balance. So you will still receive the pre-financing, and then on the final balance, when you receive the final balance at the end of the project, we will check if all the work packages were fully completed. And if they were not fully completed, then there will be either a deduction or a recovery order, depending on how is the level of completion of the work packages. But you still receive the pre-financing at the beginning of the project, so don't worry about that.
This pre-finance, it is how many percent of all sum, or this is a lump sum of the budget? How it is? Yes, Parviz.
The lump sum is, as I said to you, it's either up to 30,000 or up to 50,000 in the case of modules and chairs. That's the maximum, and this maximum corresponds to 75% of the total amount. So the other 25% will have to be from the university on co-funding. Okay. Regarding the amount of the pre-financing, I'm not so sure at the moment if it's still the same as before, or if it has changed. But it usually varies between 70, 80, or 90, depending on the project. So if you want, I can check this information and send to you later to be specific about how much it is. But it's anyway something between 70 and 90. So
yeah, thank you
Okay.
very much. Thank you.
you're welcome.
I think this is clear. Yes, Parviz, you have a
Just a very short question, Antonio, regarding the lump sums and the novelty introduced for the ceilings of up to which amount they can receive for chairs, for instance, and models from the partner countries. What I can see now is when you said that there are 10 million available under this call, is that the average of the funding received per project from our countries at least goes down significantly, because now to be eligible for full funding under chair, for instance, the applicants need to have at least 750 teaching hours in the project. While, for instance, in other countries, for instance, as Saudi Arabia, for them it's to receive this amount of funding, 90 hours would be enough. So are we expecting more projects from these countries, or how the distribution will be made? Because this is really worrying us.
Okay.
You see what I mean, though, right?
Yes, I know what you mean. I mean, it is true that unfortunately the budget for the Erasmus program had to be reduced as of this year because, among others, because of Brexit. So there was a substantial cut in the budget from what happened last year. So everything had to be a bit turned down. the calculation of the amounts, they are related to the basically to the cost of expenses by country. Okay, so I mean the amounts for Saudi Arabia are higher, not because we want to give more money to Saudi Arabia, but just because the costs of expenses there, the costs there are higher than in Ukraine or Moldova. But having this in mind, they have calculated in a way that they are more or less in terms of purchase parity, that they are more or less equitative per country. It is true that in all cases, in order to reach the full amount, you will have to have larger projects. This is also true. But on
much
the other
larger,
hand,
much larger.
Yeah, but on the other hand, this also helps organizations which are not able to implement very big projects, but which still will be able to get the financing with a smaller project. You have to take into consideration that the competitive of this call is very high. So we just want to make sure that there is a chance for everybody.
So thank you for your explanation, Antonio. I think we could proceed to the question 2 from the received from Lana in order to explain very clearly how to proceed with the budget preparation. What is the correlation between the automatically calculated lump sum based on the number of teaching hours and the amount identified and the detailed form. Should the amounts in the detailed budget table be distributed within the available lump sum that was automatically calculated, or should they be calculated independently from the lump sum?
That's what I was telling before. That's what I was telling before. I mean, it depends on what you mean by detailed package, detailed budget. If you mean detailed budget by work package, this only applies to centers of excellence. This does not apply to modules and chairs. So please make sure to separate these two things. If you're saying detailed budget, just the distribution of teaching hours per teachers and per amounts, etc. I mean, this is just following the tables which are already published in program guide. You basically see that for each tranche of hours, there is a specific total lump sum. So you just have to divide this lump sum by the number of teaching hours by the number of teachers, just like in previous years. So there's not much change about this in this sense.
Another question, thank you. Another question is, I think, is for Jean Monnet module and chairs. In the Jean Monnet action, there is teaching and research activities. Shall participant have 2 separate working packages, or one for teaching, another for the research? So how to organize these work packages? If you have some, how to say, explanation on the content of work packages, what it is expected.
I mean, as I said again, like the work packages the detailed budget per work packages, they do not apply to modules and chairs. And the calculation by teaching hours only applies to modules and chairs. So we're talking about different things there. Okay, there's one thing which is the budget for modules and chairs, which is calculated by the number of teaching hours. And the number of teaching hours is just a reference. It's not necessarily that all these hours will have to be teaching hours, provided that the minimum amount of teaching hours is respected, like 90 in the case of chairs and 40 in the case of modules. I mean, you have the freedom to use the total amount of the lump sum to cover all expenses of the project, because we understand that the costs, they are related to the production of those teaching hours, and that they wouldn't happen if you don't have the materials for it. So the reference teaching hours is just a way to calculate the budget. Okay. In the case of I see Ms. Johnny from Georgia. She wants to talk. I've seen. I'll talk to you. If you're talking about the work packages, the detailed budget for work packages for the centers of excellence, then this will be on a real cost base. And then at the end of this calculation, the experts will analyze the application, and based on the total amounts, there will be fixed, customized lump sums per each project. This is basically just a way to simplify the assessment of the reports at the end of the project, because we have each year an increasing number of projects, and basically we just don't have the work of the main force to deal with it. So we're just trying to simplify the work. Once you have the lump sum, that's a fixed amount. So you get the amount and you use it, the way it best suits you, provided all work packages are completed.
Thank you. Lika, please.
Thank you. Since you mentioned the reporting period afterwards, I mean, I want to go back to the modules and chairs only, and we are talking the lump sum. So theoretically, is it possible that different universities from the same partner country will calculate, let's say, cost of each teaching hour differently, depending on what of additional cost they have to cover from this lump sum? Because previously it was kind of fixed. What was the ceiling of reimbursement per one teaching hour? Now we don't have this ceiling. So, and I hope this won't create any problems while assessing the projects, because you might have projects from different universities of the same country who have the same lump sum, but when they start implementing, they might pay different amount to their professors because they have to cover different other costs from the same lump sum. So will it be clear for everybody there or not? Because I'm a bit confused with this approach.
I mean, if you think on the other way, actually, the lump sum, it's just a simplification of the old method. In the old method, you would calculate the number of teaching hours per teacher, and you get that amount, and then you have the percentage over it. Basically, what we are doing now is that we're saying from 50 hours to 100 hours, you get a fixed amount. And this fixed amount you can use as you wish for the implementation of the project. So it actually makes your life easier.
Which means that we have flexibility of reimbursing the professors under this model. Okay, yes. And one additional small question. I mean, in the application form, when we have to upload the documents, part B, CVs, budget, etc., there is other annexes. So what could be other annexes? I mean, I already got questions. Could it be recommendation letter, or what could it be?
Unfortunately, I cannot answer this question yet because this is an ongoing issue. I told you in the beginning of this presentation that there were still ongoing issues with the application, and for which we don't still have the answer.
So if we leave it empty, it's not a problem if you don't have any additional annexes.
For the moment, I would say
you
no.
Cannot leave it empty.
Yeah,
but I don't think you can leave it empty because the system will not validate it then. We tried that.
So that's why I'm saying I don't have an answer to this question at the moment, because we have already received this question from other people, and there's no clarity about it. We need to answer to receive the answer from the GEAC, and we are still waiting. So I'm very sorry about it. A few questions that I will not be able to answer today. That's what I'm saying. Please send to me in written. You have my email already, and now you answer as soon as I have the answer.
Thank you.
While we are on these uncertainties and delays, I still get questions from our audiences saying, will there be an extension to the deadline? Will there be? So there is absolutely no chance for the extension. And I can see from the chat from other countries, people are asking as well, given that there's been delays and there's still a lot of uncertainties and everything.
I didn't say that there will absolutely not be an extension.
Okay.
I said that for the time being, we are not expecting any delay, any extension.
what I can say that we would really appreciate if we could have some, because there are still a lot of questions.
With you. Because we also
it is true that there has been a lot of question marks, and people are having with all the difficulties trying to apply. Honestly.
Yeah, but at least you'll be able to you'll be able to send your applications, and you can go holidays where we'll spend all the summer working.
I know very well.
I won't have summer holidays this year.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
So another question is, we have some questions, and I think we will have more question on Jean Monnet module and chairs. Again, the work packages are dedicated mostly to the Center of Excellence.
Yes.
So this is the idea, but those who write proposals with Jean Monnet module and chairs, they could apply without presenting the description of work packages. This is right?
So far as I've known, so far as I've been informed, just before this meeting, yes. But as I said to you, at the moment, nothing is, or very, very little things are 100% true. So if there's anything changes, I'll inform you. But for the time being, what I can say is work packages, detailed budget per work packages, they only apply to centers of excellence. They do not apply to modules and chairs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This is
Antonio, the question from Armenia, we ask about the online application system. There are some documents, part B, budget, mentioned with the red dots, and documents with CV and previous projects, etc., with green dots. Just to understand, is that mandatory uploaded documents with green dots, or it should be mandatory to upload with red dots? What to do with those two dots, two types of dots?
Okay, to be honest, I haven't seen the application online yet, so please let me know which exactly you're telling me, so then I can tell you if it's mandatory or not. One thing I can say, like you had asked me about the CVs, about the format. It's free format at the moment. Someone had asked me from the Netherlands, and they had asked me about the declarations of honor. The declarations of honor are actually only be asked after the selection phase, only to the selected applicants. But as I said, again, I'm not at this moment in a position to tell you specific which documents need to be attached to those on those fields. And yeah, I know it sounds weird, but and it's also very weird for us to be in a situation like this. But the problem is that sometimes we are depending on the reviews from the legal services, and they are very delayed on their work. So there are many documents which haven't been uploaded yet because we do not have yet the final versions. So that's why I can't give full answers sometimes. So I'm sorry about that. But please send me in written your question, and we will answer to you as soon as I have the firm answer.
Okay, and another question concerning the list of previous projects which already implemented by the applicant, by whom? The
Implemented by the institution, implemented by the institution. Okay, any other projects already implemented by institution. And you had also asked about the participants. The participants, we understand in principle as other per institution. Okay. Another question that you had sent to me, when the application forms will be available, I've already said. I mean, that's been a bit of a mess for us. I'm sorry about that. The budget, if what's the legal force of detailed budget table? Well, the thing is, the final version of the budget is part of the grant agreement. So the final version of the budget will be legally enforceable. But in the application phase, and especially in the case of, for instance, centers of excellence, because we're dealing with customized lump sums, there will be the possibility of some proposed changes, okay? So the budget applied might not be the same as the budget confirmed. The budget confirmed is legally enforceable. The budget applied, not necessarily. Okay.
Thank you, Antonio. I think I see Svetlana with the raised hand. I think this is the question which is in already in our chat. Svetlana, you can tell.
Yes, thanks a lot. Thank you, Antonio, for the presentation and the questions sessions. And the question from Ukraine, from one university, about the criteria partnership and cooperation. Does it mean that applicant must have partners or a partner? And if yes, then from which countries? Thank you very much.
Okay, you do not need to have partners, okay? But it's of course always interesting if you have that. From which countries? There's no rule on that. It's basically up to. Of course, it's the more. It depends on the kind of project. I mean, if you're going to make a project about a European Union policy on the Eastern Partnership, then it's interesting to have other, other countries involved, partners from other countries involved. If you have a project on a certain kind of European Union policy, then it would be interesting to have program countries involved. If you're going to make a project about European foreign policy, then maybe it will be interesting to have countries from all around the world. It depends on the project that you have. Okay, and as I said, it's not necessary, not mandatory, but it's always it looks beautiful in the picture.
Thank you very much. So there is no changes since the previous call in this matter of the partnership.
No, not really. No.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Another question is about the work packages for the Center of Excellence. The question is about how many work packages must be in an application, and how I understand that you cannot tell exactly how many, but maybe to explain if the applicant is how to say free to organize his application as he wish, or
I mean you do need to have at least 5, which are those 5 main budget headings, those staff and equipment, and I mean I've told about it in the presentation. So those 5 main budget headings, I would say there would be one for each. But you have based on that, you are free to have more working packages if you want to. No problem. You can have one just for dissemination, one just for sustainability, one for. I mean, in fact, the more detailed your project is, the better. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I saw a question about Great Britain. Great Britain is not a member of the Erasmus program anymore. So no, unfortunately.
Thank you. Thank you. Parviz, please.
Antonio, another question about the team members. While preparing the module of Jean Monnet, could within the team could be a professor from outside of the targeted university, and also a team member as a, for example, master degree student?
It can be from another university, it's not a problem. It can be also from a master degree. Of course, that the preference is given to holders of PhDs. So you have less chances if you are dealing with people with master degrees. That's just the way it is. But it's not an impediment.
Okay.
Thank you. So I don't know. Parviz, do you have a question? I saw you has hand raised. I don't see Parviz already.
Yes, I'm here. I just had a problem with one device. I switched to another. That's why I can share the video. I have a question to Antonio regarding the Jean Monnet projects that we had in the past. Are we going to have them, as it was mentioned somewhere, when that going to be possibility for applying?
Good question. We expect that we will have them back in the future, but we do not know yet when, because this will depend on how the new strand on high schools will be developed. What I can say, and also on the agency's capacity to manage these projects. I mean, the agency we are supposed to increase our manpower over the next years, but for the time being, we are already so overloaded that it would be impossible for us to give to even answer questions to our applicants if we had to deal with all projects, with all actions. So the Jean Monnet projects, networks, and support to associations, they were not available this year, and they are in principle not yet available in 2022. They might be available as of 2023. That's the position that we have at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio. I think we have answered the most of the questions. I think maybe, please, Svetlana.
I have a very small question. Is there any preferences to the newcomers this call to be funded?
Not really. There's no preference to anybody. We don't work like this. The preference is on the best applications. Mm-hmm. But as I said to you, I mean, since there will be different tranches of funding per number of hours, I mean, this means that also small projects also have chances to be selected. That's what I can say.
So I think this is most of the questions which we have received. This is another question. In previous application, there was characters limit for each block. For example, 3,000 characters per block. It is not applicable anymore. The orientation is I
think it's 4,000 per block. No.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah, pardon.
4,000. I think it's 4,000. Yeah.
The orientation is just 40 pages.
Oh, that I don't know. Sorry, I would have to check. I know it's 4,000 characters. That I remember. Yeah, that's because yeah, go on. I'm also dealing with another call at the same time. I'm dealing with the designated institutions calls, which is happening at this very moment. So I'm dealing with all the calls. I'm very busy. So I also have this on top. So, but I will come back to you with all the questions that I wasn't able to answer today. That's for sure. Don't worry about that. There's one more question from Lana.
Antonio, a very short question about Center of Excellence. How many partners could be envisaged into the establishing of center? I mean, what will be the team, or it could be also some partners from outside of the targeting institution?
There can be partners from outside the institution. I mean, the grant is still mono-beneficiary, but you can have partners from other institutions. Yes, I mean, for us, they're not considered as beneficiaries. The beneficiary will be still your institution, but your institution can have agreements with other partners, with other universities, which might work together on the Center of Excellence. And there's no limit for that.
Thank you. So, thank you, Antonio. I know you must leave. You should leave for another meeting, and Lana also. I thank you very much for your time and for your openness to answer our question. I'm sure our participants have another 10 questions for the future. And thank you for showing your mailbox, and I'm sure you will have other questions in the future. So thank you very much.
No problem. As I repeat, you can always any questions that I haven't been able to answer today, please send to me in written. You can send to to my personal email. In what regards as a mode of Ukraine and Armenia, I will answer them myself. In what regards Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Belarus, I will send to my colleagues as they are the responsible ones, and they will answer to you. But
yes, our experience with Maria Victoria was always very fruitful. So she's always helpful, and thank you.
Yes.
Thanks to all your team.
We call her the encyclopedia of the Jean Monnet actions because she's the one who's been there for the longest. So
Yeah, I was gonna say she's been there for ages.
she's there for 14 years already. Yeah. Anyway, I do have to go now. I'm very sorry about that. But as I say, feel free to contact me at any time, and I'll be happy to help in any way I can. Okay.
Thank you, and I hope you will receive many applications, even without the moved deadline.
Please do so. I hope that you will be able to send successful applications. And I wish, I mean, I've been also working for a year already now with your region. I find it a very interesting region to work with. It's for me almost an honor because I deal with one of the most important portfolios, and it's a pleasure for me to help you guys in which way I can. And it's fun. Sometimes I delay my answers. It's just because I'm really overloaded with work, but not because I haven't got interested to help you. So be sure that I'll be always there for you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you very much. So we have not so many questions in the chat. I think all the questions at the moment have been answered. So how do you think maybe we could how to say, close the session? Yes. So if it is the case, and I see that it is, I know this is for many of us is the holidays, and thank you to participating in this session today and tomorrow, because we in Neo Moldova organize tomorrow also events, and I know all the Neo are very how to say, active, and they organize already also different events in your countries. So I will close this session now, and I wish to all participants very successful application, and to all our country to have many selected projects, Jean Monnet project.
Thank you very much, Claudia. I appreciate all your help and all your support with this. I just want to share very shortly, tomorrow is the Holy Ramadan holiday. So Eid Mubarak to all the Muslims and everybody here. And it was great to see everybody.
So thank you, Parviz. And how to say, how we should tell